Boom, chicka bow wow. Chicka wow 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 wow. Chicka bow wow. Chicka wow wow. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Give me a few seconds here while I double check the audio. Yes, sir. We're locked and loaded. Let me get. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, okay. We're hyping up my mom. Here we go. We're going to start. Here we go. In 5, 4, 2. I demand that you care about my mother. What's up, everyone? It's America Plus. I'm your host, Cole McCormick. It's another week, another episode. What's going on, everybody? It's a beautiful week to be alive. It's Sunday, Mother's Day, May 11th, 9:40 in the PM. What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. Happy to see you. I'm coming at you. Oh, my God. I'm a little sweaty, dude. It's like hot in my kitchen all of a sudden. Let me open my window. Holy cannolis, dude. It's freaking... Oh, dude. I just had dinner, so I'm sorry if I'm a little burpy. I'm going to do my best to not burp in the middle of the show, okay? But whatever. Today is gonna be a really good day while I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's Mother's Day. I had a 12-hour shift at the restaurant, so that's incredible, and I'm pretty tired. Yesterday I had a 10-hour shift, and then I got a little sick. Today I had a 12-hour shift, and no thank you. No thanks for your service. No thank you for your good hard work, guys. Only one manager said that. We have like 6 managers at the freaking place. Only one of them said, appreciate you. So thank you to that man. Thank you to that manager who graciously said I did a good job today. That always feels great. Guys, what I want to do this week, we're just going to hang out. We're just going to vibe. We're just going to like feel how each other are feeling, you know. We're going to check in on each other. What I want to do on this Mother's Day is just hype up my mom, dude. You know, America Plus, I've always been like very open about what I've been going through and what I have been experiencing. And I've kept, you know, I have kept like a good chunk of my life private, except for the fact that my dad died. I've talked about that process and like that experience. And what I want to do for this episode is just to express my love and gratitude for my mother, who's been through more than I have. You know, she's lived a life longer than I have, obviously, and she's been through so much. And what I want to do is just like give a round of applause. Round of applause for my mom, please. Round of applause. My mom, Carrie. Thank you, Mom. Thank you so much for being my mom. I texted you this morning. I sent in the early morning text, so I already checked off the box of being a good son. So that's pretty good. And I guess what I want to start out with is what's like a good memory with my mom. One of the best memories I have with my mom is before I moved out of the home in 2017. I thought I was going to move to New York in 2017. I was 20 years old, and I felt compelled. You know, I thought that it was like going to be like the place for me. And it was going to be a huge move. You know, I grew up in Arizona, and it's like, how the hell am I going to move to New York, dude? Like, that's a crazy move. Like small town Arizona to big town New York City. Like, that's a big move. and didn't know where to go. And so my mom offered to pay for some tickets and to help me find an apartment, and she was super open about it. And I can't believe she did that. That memory is it's very fond to me because first of all, I had never had like a solo trip with my mom. And along with that, it turned into just a glorified vacation with her. I didn't end up moving to New York. I ended up just going to California, just 6 hours away from where I grew up, um, and I knew that right when like the plane landed. That was like a weird thing, a part of the trip. As soon as the plane landed at JFK Airport, I was like, "There's no way I'm moving here." So it just turned into me and my mom just hanging out in New York for a week, and we went to museums. We stayed in a couple Airbnbs. We rode taxis. We did the whole New York experience. Like there was Ubers, of course, but we also did taxis. There's like like it's like this like in between. The in between of like Uber and taxi still being relevant. Or I should say like that fight. Um, and we went to the 9/11 memorial, and that was really impactful for me. I had that's connected to like another like profound memory I have with my mom. I witnessed 9/11 on television with my mom. I had gotten up early to say goodbye to my dad, so that he could go off to work, and I fell asleep on the couch. And that morning was 9/11, and I woke up to my mom watching the TV. She's on the phone and she's crying. She's like worried, like what is going on? And I remember her telling me that she's like, "Don't worry about this. This is just a movie." She told me 9/11 was just a movie, which is a crazy idea. But I have this visual of like the television and 9/11 and my mom, like that's like so ingrained in my head. And she wanted to protect me in that, and seeing the 9/11 memorial with her in that moment in my life, that was impactful to me. And we shared we shared a silence for all the people that died that day, and it was just like a really like wow, like here's me and my mom having like a real like adult situation. Like we're really we are honoring some people that we didn't know, but we shared a certain type of trauma, and we've done our best to pay our respects and to heal from it and grow up. And so that's just always been really profound. I just have warm memories of New York. I've been to New York 2 times, one with like high school people, and one with my mom. And so, that's a very just warm place in my heart. It's a very warm memory. And my mom made it that way. And oddly enough, I was also doing a podcast in New York. I was doing the Cole McCormick show back in the day. So that was cool. I think I did like one of my last episodes of Cole McCormick show in New York City. I think I did, if my memory is correct. I don't know. Somebody go to SoundCloud and find that out. I totally forget. I forget where that was. My mom is special because she's a woman who's independent. She's like the best example of what an independent feministic woman could be. She grew up a woman of faith. She's Christian. She still is Christian. And she did everything right, or mostly everything right, I think. Like she she grew up well, she prayed, she got married, she had kids, she did her best to support the house, she did her best to support the kids and the family at large, to support her husband. And she even believed in her husband enough to go into business with him. And that's really inspiring to me as her son. Um, growing up, I sort of took the business that my parents ran, the medical billing business, as like for granted. It's like, they're working on the business. Like I was like super moody as a kid. Like, oh, why are you always working? Mom, I want to talk to you. And I'm sure my mom would say, honey, I was always there for you. I was always available to talk. And me in my head was just like, no, you weren't. Me being 13. Just some bullshit, dude. Some bullshit emo Cole. Um, but I took that business for granted. But now looking back and like in the retrospect, my like, and with the context of my dad being not here anymore, it's like, wow, like she really did that. She really, really did that. Um, and she became an adult. She had her kids when she was in her early 20s, and I think they opened up the business when they were like, I don't know, 30. That's a crazy time. Like, that's crazy. uh, like, and she bought a house. She has a pool, and it's like, from the outside, my mom's life is so amazing, and I can tell you that from the inside, my mom's life is, I'm not sure if amazing is the word I would use, but I would say profound. I would say inspiring, certainly right now. My mom, so if anyone meets me, and if I'm ever given the compliment that I am emotionally intelligent, which is something I hope people understand and realize, or at least vibe off that. If anyone thinks that I'm emotionally intelligent, it's because of my mother. Like, my mom is the reason I have any sort of care for people. My mom is the reason that I have any sort of interest in understanding my own emotions. Um, that personality trait, I guess, it comes from her. That spiritual awareness comes from her, and I thank her for that. Thank you, Mom, for giving me that spiritual awareness. Wow, my nose is running. So annoying doing a podcast. This podcast might be a little shorter than usual, but we're gonna see. Just to keep the nostrils dry. Um, But what do you think about your mom? The reason why I'm talking about my mom is because I want more people to share their love for their family. Um, I don't think moms are under attack, but I do think that there's a lot of narratives that can demean families. They can hinder what having a family really means. It doesn't matter if you're liberal, or if you're black pilled, or if you're red pilled, or if, it doesn't matter what type of situation you're in, or what types of ideas that you have. Um, there's just objectively a lot of narratives out in the world that sort of like put down moms and put down women for having kids, and sort of like, I don't know. I'm not trying to have a hard statement on this. I just think it's weird. Isn't it weird that, like, women having kids is sort of looked down upon within modern society? I think it is. You know, my sister turned into a mom a few years ago in 2018, and I've only seen her mature. I've only seen her become a better person because she's a mom. I think motherhood is something that takes profound humility and profound bravery. You're willing a life into earth, and then you are making the commitment to keep that baby alive and to somehow give it good ideas to live off of. That's insane. That's crazy, dude. I get it's inspiring, dude. It's so inspiring, and I think my mom did a good job with me and my sisters. And so it's it's just cool, dude. Like, do you think similarly about your mom? Right now, as I record this, there's a couple people that I know, one personally and one sort of like, what's the word? Not anecdotally, but like acquaintances. We're like acquaintances online. I know that these two people, their moms are no longer around, and I can relate to them with losing a parent. But I do want to give a shout out to those people. If you have lost your mom to some sort of disease or illness or some sort of anything, if you don't have a mom right now, my heart goes out to you, and I hope that you find healing, and I hope that you continue to put your best foot forward, and to, you know, try to figure out what your mom was about, because that's really where I'm at with thinking about my dad right now. Something that is going on in my life when it comes to like my spiritual and emotional life, and like, um grieving my father. um I'm sort of like thinking about the life, like I'm thinking about the life as a movie. I had this idea a couple nights ago. I was on a walk, and I was thinking about my dad, and I was like, wow, like I'm trying to remember my dad like I remember a movie. And the hard thing is that, like, sure, I can go to a text message, or maybe I can go to a recorded video, I can go to a picture to get a better image. But to get the essence, to understand what was really going on, I am thinking about my dad as if I am thinking about a movie that I saw. And it's like fleeting, but it's impactful. And and like my mom is tied into that, my mom is tied into that story. Because now she's in a position where she has to think about her husband that way. Um, I share two memories with my mom. I guess okay, so like a side memory, another memory with my mom is that she took us to Costa Rica. She insisted that the family went to Costa Rica for a vacation. Turned out being the most iconic McCormick vacation on earth that we had ever taken, ever, and will ever take, honestly. The Costa Rica trip was awesome, but I was always so mad at her. I was so annoyed that like she brought us to the jungle. Like, why did you want to be here, mom? Why? But I saw a monkey. Like there was monkeys outside my window, and we slept in a motel by a volcano that was erupting, and we like went ziplining. My mom she's so like was like she wants to do the activity, like she wants to do something with you. And for some reason, I've always been like resistant to that. It's like, why, Cole? Why are you resistant to that, man? And so that's something I've been like growing up in. And the biggest memory that I have with my mom, it's the most immediate as well, is just going through I call it the hospice week, the last week of my dad's life. A straight up 7 days in hospice. Like the fuck, it doesn't get any more biblical, dude. Like on the first day, he signed up for hospice. On the second day, it was 7 days, or maybe a little more than 7 days, whatever. But that last week with my dad, that last week of my dad's life, that's a profound memory with my mom. And it's something that we're still moving through. It's something that we're still like, like it's not healed, will it ever be healed? I don't know. I know that my family went through a really, like we trauma bonded. Like that's a big deal. We went through something so hard together, and we went through something so, I call it holy. I describe it as holy only because of what the actual moment of my dad dying felt like. It felt like God was there. It felt like angels were there. It felt like I don't even want to get emotional right now talking about it. It's just like, it wasn't the fact that my dad was leaving. It was like there was another presence when my dad left. And I experienced that extra presence with my mom. And me being the oldest, she's also the oldest within her family. She has one younger sister. And so her and I relate by being the eldest sibling. And it's this idea of responsibility, she had to take on her own responsibility within her family for being the oldest. And that sort of translated into having a family of her own. And now I've done similar things, not like the exact same things, but like I'm thinking the same way I think as her. I am looking for my path to like, how can I hold my family up? How can I make sure my family is okay as the eldest sibling? Like, what is my position? As I live my personal life, as I clock in and clock out of work, what is how can I best support my sisters? That's a thought my mom and I have both had, I think. How can I best support my sisters? And seeing my mom go through that hospice week, that was really profound because it just it even though no one wants to like say this, even though like death is death, death is the end of a life. But at the same time, it was like the culmination of all of the marriage vows. Like from my perspective, I literally watched the marriage vows. And I'm not sure how many kids really get to experience that. I'm not sure how many children get to really see their parents act out the marriage vows through sickness and in death. My mom loved my dad to death. Like, that is so real. And I have that story. I have that image. I have that memory. I have that lesson. My mom loved my dad to death through sickness and in health. And she supported him losing weight. She supported him throughout the cancer, and she did her best to support him in the final days. And that was insane. That was really insane. The family went through something really insane. So just shout out to my mom for being so strong, and she's struggling right now. I'm not going to share too much of this, but my mom is struggling. She's middle aged. She's in her early 50s. She's widowed, and throughout this even before my dad got cancer, she was going to school to be a counselor. She was getting her degree, in an entirely new field. And she was working up this new career, and then she had to like deal with this cancer bullshit, and then she had to like witness her husband die. It's like, what the fuck is this? Now she's supposed to help people in the community with their like relational issues. Like, she's dealing with so much more stuff than anyone can ever imagine. And a lot of it's bullshit, and I'm trying to be there for her, and I encourage her to just keep sharing her light, and the good thing is that she's honest when she messes up, and that's the only way that we can ever get through life. My mom is showing me that, like, in these dark times, like, who you are, how you show up to yourself and your immediate family in the worst moment of your life is who you truly are. And I've seen my mom apologize for mistakes that she's made within this time, and I've seen my mom make an effort to be the best version of herself in this time. And, she's not perfect, no human is perfect, but she's certainly trying. And I believe that, I see that in her, and I love that about her. And so just shout out to you, Mom. I just love you so much. I believe in your power. I believe that you are strong, and I believe that you are capable of being equal. I believe that you are equal to this challenge in front of you, Mom. I truly do. I wish I had I didn't write anything out. This is all just like at the top of my head, but I don't have like a sprawling speech from Gladiator for my mom. I don't have I don't have this. It's love in my heart, and I do my best to share the love in my heart to my mom. So just right now, take a moment, take a breath, and maybe just like think about your heart, think about compassion in your heart, think about the love in your heart, the gratitude in your heart, and to just send that out to your mom. We're just going to take 10 seconds, just nasty ass booger. Okay. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. Thank you so much, Mom. Thank you so much. Shout out to Mom, y'all. I love you so much, Mom. Yeah, dude. So that's everything I got, dude. Like, what do you think about your mom? Do you love your mom? Is your mom worthy of praise? I hope she is. I also have a friend whose mom, gave him up for adoption, and that's a little tough, but him and I were talking about it today, and I was like, man, like, maybe if you were able to have your mom's perspective when all that negative stuff was going on, maybe you would understand. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I would. I really would. I know I would. And so I'm thankful for that as well. I'm thankful that I have like people in my life who are like capable of looking at different perspectives, So what is your perspective? I want to hear your perspective. I want to hear your value. Yeah. America Plus is a value for value show, dude. We're going to go into the value for value section of the podcast. Value for value means that I just come on my show, I come on my feed, and I do my best to share what I think is important for the world. And just like conversations like this, and you're able to reciprocate the value. If you're getting any value in this right now, please send that value right back to me in the form of time, talent, treasure. If you're on YouTube or Twitter, give me a like, give me a subscribe, a follow, a retweet, comment down below. I want to know what you have to say about your mom. And then the treasure portion is you can support me on an app called Fountain.
Go to value4value.info for more info, then download the Fountain.fm app. It's the best way to support the show.
Found.fm is a modern podcasting app. It lets you send small bits of Bitcoin to your favorite podcasters. You're using Bitcoin as a currency with this app, which is really cool and important in my opinion. And I got a couple boostograms to read out. This first one comes in from at Pies. What up, Pies? He sends in his usual 100 Satoshis. And he just has to say he sends in one emoji. He sends in like the beers cheering emoji with 100 Satoshis. Thank you so much, Pies.
Boost.
Thank you very much, Pies. And he sends in another 100 and a beer clashing on another episode a couple weeks ago. So thank you so much, Pies. Shout out to Pies. Be a part of this crew, y'all. I got another boostergram I want to read out. So this guy was actually streaming sats. That's the cool thing about modern podcast apps. You can stream money while you listen, and then when you hit pause, it stops. When you hit play, it goes. So this guy was streaming me money. So shout out to Dreb Scott, man. Dreb Scott. He does the chapters for Adam Curry's podcast. Adam Curry is the inventor of podcasting. So I'm like, dude, I'm like right next to Adam Curry, dude. I'm like half a degree away from Adam Curry. I'm an email away from Adam Curry, which is pretty fucking cool. Anyway, Dreb Scott, he sends in a boostagram, and he sends in, I wasn't able to get the full amount because of the way that the splits are, but I'm reading 1209, 1,209 sats. It was probably more. It's probably like 1,300 or something like that, or 1,500 maybe. He sends in over 1,000 sats, 1,209 sats from Dreb Scott. And what he has to say is, and this from last week, he says, enjoyed your thoughts on Trump and Hollywood. Thank you, sir.
Boosting is loving.
And now, as the French say, it is time for le boost.
Dreb, thank you so much for vibing with me on my take on Trump. I think Trump's a good guy. And there's nothing you can do to make me think different. So that's the value, guys. Shout out to all those people who wanted to donate via Value for Value. Value for Value is the future of engaging with your favorite content online. Get involved with it. Value for Value is how you engage with your community. Barter, trade, share. This is value. And so I just want to exchange in that value myself with you right now. So yeah, another cool thing about Value for Value as we wrap up this episode, this shorter episode, is I always play a Value for Value song. This song is coming in from an artist I've played on the show before. His name's Ollie. His music is really cool, like modern lo-fi hip hop type sounds. He's really good. The cool thing about this is that because I'm playing him on my podcast, I'm giving him a 90% split of your Satoshi donation. So as soon as the song plays and you feel like giving us some Satoshis, 90% of that donation is going to this musician. And yeah, that's Value for Value, man. So without further ado, this is In Between by Ollie. Enjoy.
Yeah, I feel like I woke up from a dream, somewhere in between. I pretend my life a movie scene. I need Billie Jean. I've been in the gym, I'm getting lean. For my self-esteem, so much on the screen, I'm about to scream like this cat scene. Phone on D&D, ignoring calls. Funny what to solve. People telling tales, but they talk, trying to get involved. I know that it's hard to hear the truth, but I want it all. Quicker like you pulling attitude, let the water fall. Both my hands I'm putting in the air, act like no one's here. Some people a victim to they fear, way too self-aware. I ain't playing safe, I love it there. Tend to overshare, wearing my emotions on my sleeve. Okay, let them stare, I'm not hiding me. Yeah. Don't go living someone else's dream. It's alright to be lost when you're searching for closure. No, the sun still shine when you're falling in between. Hold tight, give it time in the storm tight, give it time and the storm will be over. Yeah. Let go of the weight as I breathe fresh air. I know that God put the stars around me. If you never change, you ain't going nowhere. Why avoid pain if regret not free? If you take a chance, then you cannot lose. When you life hard, then you know you're not weak. Focus on the good things, they just take time. I ain't giving up on the vision I see. Yeah. Don't go living someone else's dream. It's alright to be lost when you're searching for closure. No, the sun still shines when you're falling in between. Hold tight, give it time and the storm will be over.
That's America Plus, bitch. Stay free. Bingo, 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 bongo. Folks, thank you for tuning in. We're going to end it there. I'm going to